is at a crossroads.
Yeah.
We are here because for too many years we have known the challenges and problems we face, but we haven't faced them squarely, and we haven't faced them honestly, and we haven't worked to deal with them. So we know that in a country that spends $1.9 trillion a year on health care, that having 46 million people uninsured makes no sense. We know that in a world economy, too many of our young people are being left behind, that they are not being trained to compete on the international stage, that our math scores and our science scores are declining relative to the rest of the world, that our college has become too tough for too many people because Congress, in its infinite wisdom, decided to raise tuition on student loans, raise interest rates on student loans instead of bringing them down. We know that the economy is changing, and some at the top are doing better than ever before. That if you're a hedge fund manager or a CEO of a company, you see your incomes go through the roof. Corporate profits have never been higher. And yet, all around this region, we have people who work every single day, who take the bus to work, or take the train, or do whatever they can, broken down cars, to get to work, get home late, trying to raise their kids, trying to keep them out of trouble, trying to keep them off the streets, and have not seen their wages increase or their salaries increase in years. So that we know that prosperity is not being shared throughout America. We know that we don't have an energy strategy. So as a consequence, we end up funding both sides of the war on terrorism. We send $800 million a day to some of the most hostile countries on earth. Every time oil prices go up, everybody here gets taxed. And in the bargain, we're now melting the polar ice caps and changing the planet's climate and potentially destroying this precious planet Earth. We know that we are in the midst of a war that should have never been authorized. And then as a consequence of that war, not only have we spent over $500 billion that could have been invested in rebuilding Cleveland, and rebuilding Ohio, and rebuilding railroads and bridges and hospitals all throughout this country. We've lost more than 3,100 of our bravest young men and women. Thousands more seen their nerves shattered, limbs severed, trying to piece their lives back together again. And a consequence of this war is to make us less safe. So that we've seen Afghanistan slip back into the hands of the Taliban. We've seen Al-Qaeda start to rejuvenate. And we look and we say to ourselves, how is it that over the last 6 years, after all that blood and treasure, we are less respected, our reputations diminish all over the world? How could that be? So we know what the problems are. And we know that the path we've on has been rejected by the American people. That's what the November election was about. People said that we won't accept the war, and we won't accept the scenes in which, after a hurricane, we've got thousands of people on rooftops without water and without food, without shelter. So we know those things, but what the American people are also understanding is that it's not enough just to reject what has been. We've got to embrace a vision for the future.